Okay, part two before I forget. I did record a half an hour snippet, a 20-minute snippet, the 5 minute snippet of the message for humanity, but I haven't listened to it yet to see how if the sound quality is good. As I mentioned, I suck at editing, so I'm just trying to get out what I remembered right now. Um, Something I said before, the channeler, the new starseed channeler. Okay, she used to be a reporter actually for a very big news station here. Quit her job in 2019. Asked the universe, "How can I help?" She was gifted this ability to channel, and they kept saying she's a very young soul. In part one, I said she had a bunch of lives as a Pleiades, but actually, what they said was very few. She had a few lives as a Pleiadian. They kept referring to her as an Onaphim, basically. An Onaphim, the way they described it, and I thought they were talking about Oraphim. I said, aren't they the tall people? They're like, don't you mean Nephilim are the tall people? They kept saying circle, circle, Onaphim. It's this a wheel of light, basically, that's just spitting light. It's just a wheel. It just goes like this, and it spits light. So that's like, I guess, how a lot of our souls start out as very new souls. So just a message to the young souls out there. It doesn't mean that you can't do really big things. This woman that I worked on is basically the next Abraham Hicks. Like, she's just out, and aliens are talking through her. She has to get to the stage where she can understand what's happening. Like, they really wanted me to teach her physics. I will see if she's open to that. So they left me what they called a swirl. They constructed one with their hands as the session ended before they left so she could wake up. And they said before I go to sleep to go into that swirl in meditation, to go visit my other lives that they were telling me about. So you can be more than one starseed. They were telling me I had many, many, many lives as a Lyran. And as I mentioned in part one of the Lyran lives was to participate in the Lyran Pleiadian energy exchange, which I guess is some kind of galactic treaty, I'm guessing. But they also mentioned I was an Arcturian once, which explains why I saw that Arcturian a couple of years ago and then realized that it was me that I saw. Like, the way that the Arcturian was looking at me was the exact same way that I was looking at it and at her. And later I realized it was me that I was looking at. So it confirmed I did have a life as an Arcturian, and also a life Sirius as well. And they were pointing, like, her body shot up, and they said, Arcturus, Arcturus, Lyran, Lyran. There's something else that she was that started with a B, like a Banahim or something, and I couldn't make out the word properly. I'm gonna go through the recordings and see if I can't pull it up again, but it sounded like a Banahim. If anybody knows more about this B word from the green space, is what they called it, pointing at the heart, please let me know how you spell that. And the Pleiades are also, I think, in the lower heart, and they pointed here for Sirius. So Arcturus, Lyran, the Banahim or Pleiades, and Sirius is down here. And so you can have starseed life cycles, is what they call it, because on Earth it's like one life. But when I asked them, I said, "Oh yeah, like I have one memory as a Lyran, and it's in like the middle star of Orion, so that never made much sense to me. But I guess you can go to other star systems as whatever star seed you are. Like they mentioned, the Pleiadians that were talking kept saying Pleiadian from Halcyon, so you can be a star seed from another constellation, I suppose." And so when they were encouraging me to go into meditation to remember more about these past lives, they said go to the sun. And I thought they meant the sun of the whatever constellation, but they said, no, your sun. Go through the sun. And I was like, oh, that's the Stargate. And they said, yes, that's it acts like a wormhole. So if you're going to travel in meditation to go and explore your starseed roots, before I heard this from them, it was my understanding that there were many stargates on Earth, that some were hijacked by the dark forces and some were recuperated. So I thought there was like a whole map system, but no, it's just the sun, our sun. Go right in through the sun, and that's a stargate to go to wherever you want, or to check out your past lives in whatever constellation. So I learned that. What else did I learn? Oh yes, I learned something very interesting about plants. So apparently they're saying, oh yes, I have many lives in the stars, basically, and many lives on Earth. They really liked working with me because apparently I'm a very, very old soul. And they said, yes, you lived 1400s, you lived in Egypt, and they said, many times you chose to keep coming back to 1700s America is what they called it. And they said I kept choosing to come back to that time, and I had heard that there was I kept interrupting them to ask questions because I'm like that, and I was like, oh, is that because of the time split? Was there really a time split in the 1700s? And they didn't answer if there was a time split in the 1700s, but what they did say was that the plants, the vegetation kingdom, the whole plant kingdom was going through some kind of a existential crisis, is how they called it, because they didn't know how else to say it. And they said these plants were like, they all have a purpose, and they gave mint as an example. Like, the mint's purpose is to aid digestion, but the plants had a passion, what they really like to do. And for example, mint was great at digestion, but its passion was to clear the head. And apparently I just loved helping the plants discover what their true passion was. And I spent many lifetimes just going back to that time to help the plants discover their true passion. And they mentioned something about nutmeg and bergamot. To me, I think those may help me open my third eye. And I've heard that with nutmeg before, that some people who are missing a certain enzyme, some people can hallucinate on nutmeg, apparently. But I'm not one of those people. I love nutmeg, and I've never had any strange reactions. But I'm definitely going to use more of my bergamot essential oil and nutmeg. Try that before I meditate. Lots of little snippets of goodies, like super, super cool. So I hope this young woman gets more public soon and gets the courage to participate in her own channelings, if she can understand more what's going on. Very interesting to learn about Onaphium. I have to learn more about the B word one, that these constellations and star system dimensions actually have places in our body. There's just always more to learn. No matter how old you are, how many lifetimes you've gone through, there's always more to learn and explore and have fun with, and just create those love bubbles. Oh, and a life cycle in the stars could feel like what felt to me was like 100,000 years in the one that I remembered. Like, I was sending light codes to children for what felt like 100,000 years, and they said, yeah, that's one life cycle. On Earth you have a life, but you have a very long life cycle up there.